There's a new and exciting group of treatments that people in the wellness industry and also some doctors are using to help their patients. And they are called peptides. Some people have even claimed that they have cured their autoimmune disease with peptides. So what are peptides? Peptides are essentially a small chain of amino acids, and you can consider them smaller versions of proteins. Hi, I'm Dr. Micah Yu. I'm a board-certified integrative rheumatologist, and today we're going to be examining the science behind peptides, which peptides are best for chronic inflammation and autoimmune diseases, and also how these peptides are used. So what exactly are peptides? Like I said earlier, peptides are a short chain of amino acids, and they're a little cousin of proteins. And there are many use cases of peptides. Peptides can be used as hormones. For example, insulin is a peptide. And also, peptides can be signaling molecules as well. And there are many other functions of peptides. Our body heavily relies on peptides to function. And some of the peptides that are now used on the market today are essentially found naturally in our body. And insulin is one of the earliest peptides to be used as an actual drug. So some peptides are actually being used as medications today, but many peptides are actually not FDA approved and are not medications, but they're still being used in the market. So some of the peptides that I'll be talking about today, you can't find them at the pharmacy because the pharmacy doesn't make them. In other countries, in Europe, they may be actually used in the pharmacy and prescribed as an actual drug. So there are a lot of different regulations on peptides. Many years ago, peptides were being made in pharmacies, but the FDA put a block on them in the past decade. So pharmacies stopped making them, especially the injectable ones. Now in the United States, there has been a push by RFK to try to get these peptides FDA approved. And maybe soon, we can have these made in the pharmacy. And peptides can be very powerful. And I will tell you that I have used peptides in my office as well to help my patients. And some people use peptides for hair growth. Some people use peptides for better skin, weight loss, building muscle. I like to use it in my office because I'm a doctor to help lower inflammation and to help fight autoimmune diseases as well. So some of the conditions and diseases that I treat in my office that peptides can potentially help are mast cell activation syndrome, Lyme disease, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and many other inflammatory conditions. Now, you have to know that these peptides are not part of any guidelines that your doctor will read. And there is no conclusive evidence that will tie directly these peptides with these diseases. But they can potentially help lower inflammation. And that's the whole goal here. Because the difference between these peptides and actual medications that are immunosuppressants, these peptides don't suppress your immune system, they help modulate your immune system. So they don't give you the increased infection risk that these immunosuppressants can give you when you're taking drugs, for example, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and some of these other biologics. So the content of today's video is educational, so you're aware of which peptides can be potentially used in the market. And please talk to your doctor before you consider going on these peptides. All right, so let's get on with it. Peptide number one that can be used to help with chronic inflammation and autoimmune disease in general are the GLP-1s. Those are the really famous and popular weight loss drugs that are out on the market right now, like Mounjaro, Ozempic, Zepbound, and Wegovy. You'd be surprised to know these are actual peptides also. And in my clinic, I've seen patients not only lose weight, but they have lowered their inflammation. I've seen people with rheumatoid arthritis avoiding drugs completely, like methotrexate, Humira, some of these other immunosuppressants, and just be on the GLP-1 drugs. You can certainly microdose them so that you don't lose weight. So I have patients that are using these drugs in that way to help lower inflammation. These GLP-1 medications, they come mainly in an injectable form. Some people do get it in an oral form, but I don't know if that's as effective in lowering inflammation as the GLP-1 drugs. And the GLP-1 medications, like I said earlier, can be used for autoimmune diseases, but I've also used it in mast cell activation syndrome, where I've seen patients actually improve their inflammation and can tolerate the environment and food much better. And don't get the flushing, the rashes, and the intolerance to many of the chemicals that they once had. So GLP-1s, you can actually get this at the pharmacy. And you can actually get these compounded if you don't want to get the brand name version of these drugs. And they can be much cheaper in that way. Let's talk about the second peptide, which is known as BPC-157. BPC-157 is also known as body protection compound. And BPC-157 can be anti-inflammatory. And there are studies behind BPC-157. BPC-157 is naturally found in the gastric juice. And people are using it in the wellness industry to help speed up the healing process. For example, if you have injured your tendon or a ligament and you take BPC-157 as an oral pill or as an injectable, you can actually speed up the healing process. And a lot of people are doing this. One thing that people don't know is that these peptides, specifically BPC-157, which we're talking about here, can be anti-inflammatory. So BPC-157, there are a lot of lab studies with it, but there's actually a human study out there where these patients were injected BPC-157 straight into the joint, and many of the patients actually improved with their joint pain when they had BPC-157 injected. Now, what are the drawbacks of BPC-157? There's a theoretical risk that when you take BPC-157, you can actually speed up cancer risk or the growth of cancer. It doesn't necessarily cause cancer, but theoretically it can speed up the cancer growth risk. One of the things that BPC-157 actually does, it can actually promote new blood vessel formation through the upregulation of a molecule called VEGF. That theoretically may speed up the process of cancer formation, but this is one of the reasons why it can help with tendon repairs and ligament injuries and also be anti-inflammatory as well. So in my clinic, I have combined BPC-157 with medications, but patients taking this by themselves and they have gotten better with their autoimmune disease and arthritis. So everyone's a little bit different. Know that this is not FDA approved for any disease in the United States. So definitely talk to your doctor about BPC-157, but it's one of my favorite peptides out there. Now let's talk about the third peptide, and that is TB4, also known as Thymosin Beta-4. And this peptide has been shown to be anti-inflammatory, and also it has been shown to help accelerate tissue repair as well. And sometimes you'll find that there is a blend of Thymosin Beta-4 and BPC-157 together because they can be synergistic and work together to help speed up the healing process and also be anti-inflammatory as well. And some people do get it as an injectable form. And when it comes to injections, some people inject themselves 5 days a week. Some people even do it 7 days a week. But there are protocols out there where people are injecting it 1 month, 2 months straight, and they stop for a full month or 2 weeks. So there is no guidelines for this exactly. And I've seen people use it in my own clinic with their autoimmune disease and chronic inflammation. I have seen inflammation levels go down with these peptides. Now I do want to add that a lot of the studies with peptides, I'm not talking about the GLP-1s I mentioned as the first peptide, but other peptides like the BPC-157 or Thymosin Beta-4. A lot of these studies are done in labs or they're done on animals. There's not too many human studies, but I'm sure they're gonna come out more in the future with clinical trials. So stay tuned for that. So I'm really excited to use these peptides, and I'm gonna talk about more peptides in the future. So with these peptides that I just talked about, do they work? Well, for some individuals, it can help. I have patients in my clinic who are on these different peptides, and it actually calms down their autoimmune disease and inflammation as well. Some patients are on them by themselves. Other patients, I use medications and supplements along with lifestyle modifications to help with their autoimmune disease. Now, with these peptides, it's sort of like cutting edge treatment. If you talk to this with your doctor, they may not know what you're talking about, but it is worth maybe bringing it up to them so that they can do more research so that you guys can make an educated decision on whether to use some of these things I just talked about. So peptides, like I mentioned earlier, are not FDA approved. In the United States, many of these are not medications just yet. These are just 3 of my favorite peptides that I've seen and used in my clinic. But there are many more out there that I'll be talking about in other videos. Peptides have a lot of promise, a lot of potential that has been untapped in medicine. And I'm so excited to share this information with you all because it adds another layer of treatment for chronic illnesses besides medications. If you want to learn more about peptides, please keep watching my videos and watch my past videos as well. And if you learned something new today or use peptides, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel and comment below which peptides you have used and what questions you have on peptides and if you see any benefit at all. If you want to see me in my clinic where I run an integrative medicine and rheumatology practice, you can go to drlifestyle.org, where I do a lot of telemedicine and see patients in person here in Newport Beach, California. All right, I'll see you guys next time.